Good morning.
Good afternoon.
Good evening. Welcome to Being Here. I'm Ariel.
I'm Shia.
That's a good thing.
Well, I was fighting down a cough. You know, we had COVID last year, about this time last year, and I still have a cough from it. It's
Yeah.
like
It's
a reminder
a reminder of
that
what
you can be
dwells.
enlightened and still get sick.
Okay, today I like that. Today's episode, ready? Entropy. Entropy is a gradual decline into disorder.
It's from order to disorder. Yes.
And in case you haven't read the description recently, I'm going to read this podcast description. Is your home or life, quote, messy? You can complain about it, make yourself wrong for it, or
deal with it.
And include it, your choice. Include it. Join the Kates, that's us, in being here and celebrate being you.
Dust bunnies and all.
Or in our case, dust kitties.
Yeah.
Because everyone, just when we think we have vacuumed up everything,
well,
shows a new dust kitty.
I look under the bed and I see all this cat hair. So I vacuum again.
Yep.
You gotta keep vacuuming over and over in life,
You can skip the parts that says, I should have done this already. I actually think that I should have done this already is a placeholder for actually doing something.
Well, I walked down the basement this morning, turned on the lights, and two of the fluorescent bulbs and one of the fixtures were not working. And I went and I fixed it. It just took me that long to just rearrange those fluorescent bulbs so they lit up.
Mm-hmm.
It's now fixed. But I could have said, I'll catch that the next time I go through here.
I think I personally have a flow where sometimes I'm handling things directly as I see them, and other times I'm disregarding them. Yeah,
well, this morning I looked outside and the bird feeder needed filling. And so my universe told me what needed to be done. I needed to fill the bird feeder. So I did that. But not only did the bird feeder need filling, the area around the bird feeder was overgrown with weeds. So that needed weed whacking. I could think about it or do it. And the doing of it took very little time, maybe 10 minutes to do both.
And the thinking about it is repetitive.
Yes, and you never get it done in your thoughts.
You don't. It's true. However, you're far more likely to be hard on yourself if you're not attending to something rather than getting interested in the fact that you're not attending to something.
It takes so much longer to think about what you need to do, and it never gets it done. But if you just look and see what's needed and do it, well, the last thing I had to do today, I did, which was clean the filter in the pond. I've been looking at it and it's not going, the flow is slow. And I said, I got to do that. And today I just did it rather than have a got to do that.
You want a secret?
Yeah.
Here's the secret for including entropy. Plan for the unexpected. If you have a schedule in your mind that's very rigid that you want to handle, then any unexpected email, phone call, you get event, you find out the air quality suddenly is bad today, or the weather is different than you expect, or your child has to come home from school because they're ill, or you have an unexpected event, it pushes everything to the place where you're really hard on yourself. And from that, it's hard to complete anything.
I like that. Hey, we have a guest.
Let's take him, shall we?
Mention children.
I suspect we are already addressing
his life.
Hey, Dave, welcome to being here. Tell people where
you look very handsome today, Dave.
Well, thank you very much. This is Dave in Brooklyn.
Sorry, this is Dave in Brooklyn. Yes, I'm sorry. This is only audio so that you can't see this handsome guy
but he's looking good, you know.
Thank you very much. I very much appreciate that. Yeah, it's very nice to be here. When you guys talk about entropy, I think about like the projects that I have. Like that's where I feel my entropy. So I have a
Slow down. See, if
mhm.
you look, you'll see you have entropy everywhere, not just in your projects
But I suspect you hold the entropy in your projects
as
problematic.
problematic.
Yeah, I stress about that more than the other things in my life, I would say.
Okay, so go ahead.
But you know,
Yeah, so
go
yeah, go
ahead.
ahead.
I'll
No,
let
please.
you hang yourself. Go ahead.
I have a business, and for a long time, I had set up my business so that I had all my projects. I felt kind of under control and I wasn't stressing about it. And recently, there's been a period where I feel like the picture I have in my mind, it's like I'm carrying a stack of papers in a windstorm and they all start flying away and I can't get a
Well,
hold of everything.
hey, how long have I known you or we known you? I bet you it's more than half your life.
Oh, yeah, I met you in 1994, so it's been close to 30 years
Yeah.
or
But
29
look,
years.
see, what I've noticed in all these years is there are similar behaviors blamed on different things. In other words, your upsets always have a cause in your reality, but if you weren't upset, those causes would not be applicable. See, you blame it on the circumstance, but I say that there's a way of being that you get lost in, that you go into entropy with. See, you go from order to disorder, and I'm calling upset disorder, and
Yes.
you find something to blame it on when it's not caused by that. So you say stress, but you've been stressing yourself ever since I met you. This is
What
not
you're saying what you're
event.
saying is 100% true. I just don't when I'm in it, I don't always see that that's the dynamic.
Absolutely.
Well, there was a while that thing you stressed about was the entropy with your physicality, your body. And it seems like you've found different modalities to address that. So that's moving in a direction, or it's either stable or moving in a direction you would prefer.
Oh, it's mostly resolved. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but if the mind is a problem solution machine and that problem over there is fixed, it's going to now look for a new one to attach itself to. So,
Yes.
for example, you're in business, you've been in business for some time, and even when you didn't have your own business, you worked on projects when you were an employee of a company.
Correct.
And from time to time, projects have been smooth, and other times it feels like a bag full of papers in the wind.
Right.
My bag full of papers happens to be my email inbox. And there's always part of a healthy business, and also part of having outside interests is having an influx of information every day. And just when I get it down to nothing or virtually nothing, it reconstitutes itself. So it's
Yes.
like Sisyphus, it's never going to go away as long as I'm here, because it's part of our healthy lifestyle. However, my attitude toward my inbox is always notable. It's either entropy, where it's degrading, it's declining into disorder, or it's just a fact that there are things for me to deal with. So when Shai said to you, you're looking at the wrong thing.
When you say no to those things that need to be done, that's when it becomes stressful. When you see things as they are, they're just as they are. They're facts. When you disagree with them, however, they become problems.
So, but
Right.
let's look at it through the lens of my email inbox, because I suspect that a lot of the people listening have an email inbox. So
Sure.
I have however many, right now I'm looking down, it's kind of peeking out. I have 299 viable emails to answer right now, or to deal with,
Okay.
or file, or whatever. It's just kind of it's not I'm not behind, actually. That's just kind of what's coming in right now.
Mhm.
So if I look at it and go, then I get interested in what's going on in my life out away from the
Inbox.
That my attitude toward my inbox is you think that
Yes.
has to do with the unwieldy nature of your projects rather
Flying
than
papers.
Yeah.
than the attitude you bring to the flying papers.
You know, I was driving
Yes.
down the road today to go to a body shop that's about 15 minutes from here, because I want to have some work done on my Suburban. And there was a car in front of me that was going really slowly. And it's a 50-mile zone, and they're doing 30. And I noticed that I could either annoy myself with their doing 30 or realize that it's my universe in this moment, slowing me down so I can get back in sync. Because if I'm driven to get somewhere, I'm certainly not present in my life. See, the drive to get somewhere says you're behind, when in fact, you're in perfect sync with your life in the current moment. You may not feel that way because you have an agenda to have those things cleared away. Like my agenda was to have this car get out of my way. Interestingly enough, the moment I accepted that this was it, and I was going to be behind this car, he pulled off. The moment. I mean, it was moments. And then the road became clear again. That's just an analogy, but it's really quite analogous to life. When
No,
you everything's a problem.
Yes.
That really resonates what you're saying, because the tasks always get done regardless of whether I'm complaining about them or not. They get done. It's just whether I enjoy it or resist it, I guess.
Well, if you look, you'll see that you do not enjoy it when you're resisting it.
No, I don't.
And when you do it as though it's your idea, it's an exciting little adventure into whatever you're doing.
But David, similar to what I was describing earlier on.
The problem is you've heard me say this stuff before. And so your quick, intelligent mind says, oh, I know that. And so you disregard what I just said. Because when I said, when you do it as though it's your idea, that's when you went into, I know that, because I've heard this 1,000 times over 30 years.
But it's worked for me. I mean, it works. I keep coming back because it works.
Well, yes, of course it works, but you get lost in the mind's desire to get somewhere, and then your being is lost. You find your way back. Yes, of course. Well, congratulations for that. But maybe there's a way of not having to get lost as frequently or as deeply, where as soon as you start falling off, you correct the entropy that's taking place. As soon as you see it, it's over, because you haven't victimized yourself of what's on your to-do list, for instance.
Which brings me to what I was going to say, but clearly Shai had something that was much more pertinent in the moment. But it brings me back to what I was talking about at the beginning, Dave, where there's a flow of entropy and dealing with things. And of course, early on in this conversation with you, we were talking about entropy as in equating it to upsets. I'm talking about the entropy of, for instance, having more or less emails or having things on my desk to be attended to. The difference is that if I'm not attending to something because I'm attending to something else, the question is whether or not I'm going to stress about it, be hard on myself about it, pick on myself, have a conversation that I think I should be doing it when I have no intention of doing it. That's where you get lost. And I suspect you're a very successful guy. You have 3 kids, you have a lovely home, you have a lovely wife. I know you're getting a new place and you're renovating and all of it. You have all of these irons in the fire, so to speak. But you're not habituated to being relaxed about everything. You've gotten successful whilst folding in stress. So if you go too long without stress, you think you're doing something wrong.
Yes, that's absolutely true. That's absolutely true. It's almost like when you say that, I can see myself sort of looking for something to get busy with and to get stressed about.
Over. Something to stress over. Yes.
Yeah.
Look, interestingly enough, what we do as adults is recreate the environment we grew up in as children. And if there is chaos and disorder in that environment, that's somehow equated with love that was also in that environment. And so to have a comfortable, loving environment requires stress. Only it doesn't really require stress, but the mind, the machinery of your mind that puts order on how you see life, it feels the need to have a problem or several, as though you won't survive unless you have problems.
Our new calendar is out, and it starts being for 2024, and it starts being viable as of Friday. Because we have the last quarter of 2023 on the initial page. And I worked on it with a couple of really talented people, Wendy Madhusudan and Stephanie Luke, and of course Val Blau helped on the back end, and
was she involved in it?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, she's working on the website. She is getting she got my website up and ready so people could look at more of my pictures. So thank you. Good shout out to Zoe as well. And of course, Tag Online, who has it up
manages
for sale.
Our site.
But what was fun about it, Dave, is I have not done a calendar now since 2020. That was the last calendar because COVID, and we just
our schedule was then changed dramatically.
So I had the idea to do it, and then I walked into the post office one day. I saw a calendar hanging on their wall, and I got so inspired to do our own. I went home. It has been so much fun. It was so much fun to do and to collaborate and just organically do it, that I got to the point where I didn't even care if it came out, because the whole process itself was easier and more fun. And now I'm very proud that it is out.
Okay, this is very interesting because, we're going on a fishing trip in 3 or 4 days. We're going to Canada. And I've been preparing for this trip for a couple of months. I've been tying these huge, beautiful fishing flies for this type of fish called a muskellage. And so I've invested a great deal of time, because they take them out maybe an hour to make one of these things. And so I've got about 20 or more that I've made. And so I have the flies, I have everything. And I'm thinking we're going on Air Canada, not the way we normally travel, where we have to change planes. And I had the thought, well, what happens if my luggage doesn't make it? I lose my fly rods and flies and all this stuff that I've prepared, And I went, well, the making of the flies was enough. See, I was so engaged in what I was doing that will be enough, and they'll find some equipment for me to use. I'll have a good time no matter what. So it's like my mind wants to worry about and figure all the things that could go wrong, rather than it's all okay. It's like waiting for your luggage to come off the plane. It eventually makes it.
Yeah.
Make it. And you don't have to worry about it. Your life is going to unfold exactly as it does. Worrying about it doesn't change that. It only corrupts the current moment, you see. It only corrupts your experience of living now, not the end product is already done, you see. This is it. This is where your life is taking place. So all those things that you think are necessary, that are out of sync in your idea because they're not done yet, they're all in perfect timing to your universe. See, your life is taking place in this moment of now, not in any future moment and not in any past moment. This is it, really. So how
I
you
like that.
Yeah, how you approach this moment is everything.
I have one other idea for you in regards to your projects feeling unwieldy for you. My guess is that you are reluctant to put the bag down totally when you're not working.
That's true. Yeah.
And I have found that it's actually a discipline for me to do something that totally takes my mind away from where I'm actually fully let go of any project that I'm in the midst of, trusting that when I come back, I will be rejuvenated. I'll see it with new eyes. It'll be easier. If I don't, if I'm laying in bed at night thinking, oh, I've got to attend, I'll use my inbox as a metaphor. I have to attend to my inbox. I'm not fully rested. I'm always tied to it. It's the same old, only worse when I get back to it, as opposed to seeing it with new eyes, being refreshed. So luckily you have three incredible
distraction machines.
But I wouldn't be surprised if when you're in the midst of a complex project, they appear to you as intrusions.
But I tell you, you call them into you.
Like, oh, please come save me from this project.
That's right. I remember when we wrote our first book, Working on Yourself Doesn't Work. It took forever. And whenever we reached a stumbling point, Ariel's mother would call.
And they'd be like, that's it. We
can't work anymore today.
That sounds familiar. Yeah, that's great.
Well,
it's very helpful.
I think at that time we were ready to be responsible for, we needed a break.
Yeah.
And, I really would love it if you would get that your kids are not intrusions. They show up when you want them to show up so you can stop doing what you're doing. But you don't want, but that's irresponsible, you see. And you want to be a responsible boy, not an irresponsible boy. Hey?
Well, I will say it's been, we've had this conversation before, and more than I ever have, that behavior has died down in me. It's still there, but that behavior has died down a lot in me. So that's been good.
Okay, but I'm not talking about died down a lot. That's changed.
We're not talking about progress.
See, I'm talking about transformation, which is a shift from getting somewhere to being somewhere.
I know you know this story, but there are people who are probably newer to our podcast who haven't heard it for a long time. So I'm going to tell you a not bedtime story. It's one of our books. I can't tell you which one right now, but that's okay. When I was a kid, my mom knit my sister a sweater, beautiful white mohair sweater, pearl, shell buttons, mother of pearl buttons, gorgeous. And we were going to a concert at the school, and our dog started barking at the cat. Mom said, Kathy, will you go get Brownie away from that cat? And so Kathy did. She went out to the garage. She went to pick up Brownie, and the cat lifted its tail, and she saw the white stripe down its back and sprayed Brownie. We did not go that that Stinktier, for those of you who are German. And so they had to bury her clothes. They had to keep her out of school. They washed her in tomato juice and lemon juice to try to get rid of the smell. And Monday she goes to school, and all the kids went, P, you, stink. And she said, yeah, but this is really good. You should have smelled me on Thursday.
I have heard that story and I love it, so I did not mind hearing it again at all.
So you're like, it's better than ever.
Better than ever is not better. It's
Right.
not about better. It's not about better or worse. Better or worse is all in that realm called change, where you're incrementally getting somewhere. Transformation creates a possibility of stepping into a new moment, complete, not partially there, but fully there as magnificent as you are. I heard something this morning. You know, I wake up and I put my hearing aids in, and they connect up with my phone, and the news has a audio feed, and so I was listening to the news in my ears, and there was somebody talking about something about children, about in the first 4 years of a child's life, they are all geniuses. And then that gets programmed out in school, etc. And so we are geniuses, but we don't remember that space of being a genius. We remember what's wrong with us because we've been told what's wrong with us. I was dyslexic when I was a kid, and still am, but in school, the teachers, they didn't know what dyslexia was 75 years ago. So they told me I was lazy. Actually, they told each other that I was lazy.
It's one of the first words he learned.
That was one of the first words I ever learned. It was like my name.
Learned cat and dog. Lazy.
Right. You know,
see Dick run, see Shia be lazy.
You are brilliant, my friend. And you, when I say that, you think, oh, not really, Shia.
Okay. It's nice of you.
And you're smiling a little.
Yeah, I do. I do think that, yeah.
And so, because you've been programmed that you're not magnificent.
And that is nobody's fault.
No, it's just part of the culture that we grow up in. But it doesn't mean that it's accurate. See, what if you are brilliant and everything that's going on, even the entropy, is perfect?
But brilliant is a harder word than lazy.
Oh, yes.
BRLLIANT.
I can't do that even today. I got the lazy down, you know?
That's very cool. That's very cool.
Well, so are you. And
Thank
you
you.
forget it from time to time when you're working on yourself as though you should be further along, wherever the hell that is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I I do feel a lot more relaxed after having had this conversation. I do feel relaxed, period, after having had this conversation.
Well, welcome to my universe.
Being here. So I really think, part of entropy is we get into a forward momentum, and
you can never, ever do enough to satisfy that internal conversation that says you're not doing enough.
Yeah, thank you.
You're so welcome. Yeah.
You can only do today what you do today. You can't do any more or less.
And I want to leave you with a really important quote. It's by Mark Twain. It says, yes, don't put off until tomorrow what you can do day after tomorrow just as well.
Nice. I like it.
Thanks for being here, Dave.
Thanks for being with us, Dave.
Thank you very much.
Hey, you want to hear about transformation? Mm-hmm. We've got one of our listeners about to tell you about what's happened in their life out of listening to being here.
This is Cheryl in Hong Kong. I've been a fan of transformation and Erilyn Shia's work for maybe 14 or 15 years now, and it has really made a difference in my life. I've been able to have a certain ease and relaxation with my family, my relationships, and just about everything that I do. And I just feel like I have such an appreciation, much more of an appreciation for life than I ever have.
Do you want to have well-being with consistency? Connect with people all over the world from the comfort of your own home at Errol and Shire's lively interactive Living Made Easy virtual seminars. Join any of their 2-hour online events or take a deep dive into the magic of being you at a virtual weekend seminar. Come on, let's connect. Find out more and register at transformationmadeeasy.com.
We have Living Made Easy seminars coming up on Saturday the 2nd, and the Tuesday evening is on not on Saturday. It's Tuesday, September 5th evening for the Europeans. Speak Up with me and Susan Finch is happening on Saturday, September 23rd.
And we're doing the Freedom to Breathe and the Art of Being a Healer at Camp Tecumseh here in New Jersey. It's October 20, 21, and 22. That's Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday. It's a sleepaway camp for big kids, and you're welcome to join us.
I failed to mention that Speak Up is virtual, so you're welcome to sign in from anywhere around the world. The next virtual seminar after that is Reclaiming Your Sense of Wonder. It is bilingual, German and English, happening on November 18th and 19th.
And we are doing Costa Rica this year, and you're welcome to join us. A weekend workshop this year is a prerequisite, however.
And as I mentioned, our calendars are out. You're welcome to order them for pickup in person. I know there are people in the UK and in Germany who have copies of them. If you want to get them from them, you can reach out to us about that. If you're in the US, you can have us ship them to you. You can find out about all the things we have to offer at transformationmadeeasy.com. Let's take our next guest.
Yes.
All right, Katie, welcome to being here. Tell people where you're zooming in from.
Hi, I'm zooming in from Chicago today. And it's beautiful outside, blue skies. We got some clouds. We had some exciting weather the other day with tornadoes, but I always think that's exciting.
Especially if they don't hit you, it's exciting.
Yes.
Especially if
that's very exciting.
If they're nearby, but it's a miss, it's exciting.
Exactly. That's right. Well, it's nice to see both of you. And I want to talk to you about like the story that I've been telling myself about my life for the past few months. But both the guys who are very close to me, my husband and my dad, have both been diagnosed with one MS. My husband was diagnosed with MS earlier this year. And then my dad, who I'm also very close with, was diagnosed with a condition called MDS that is a blood condition. And it basically is kind of like a pre-leukemia. And I know it's possible to stay positive and stay with, we've basically just been trying to see my dad and spend as much time with him as possible these last few months. And it's going really well, but I still have moments of feeling sorry for myself.
I noticed something, you see. I noticed that you get emotional when you look up. So when you're looking at us via the camera, you're fine. And then you look up and you pick up that emotional upset of worrying about the future. Not only that, there's a script up there. See, in your thoughts, it's scripted. And so you re-pick up the script, which means you should feel bad. Look, life is a very strange phenomenon. There's the gift of life, really, that we are able to know that we're alive. I see all kinds of insects and animals, but I don't know that insects, for instance, know that they're alive.
They're living.
They're living, and they may even feel different emotions and thought and feelings, but I don't know that they think about their existence. Human beings, on the other hand, we think about our existence, and we think that our existence is special, and that we have to make a difference rather than just live. There's no rule that you gotta be a certain way, you know? It's okay to be okay being you, the way you are, even if it doesn't fit in with what you've been taught. So if you're not upset because there's illness in your family, you're not a very good person. But if you're upset, you're a really good person. See that?
Yes. Yeah.
So you can be as fully engaged in your husband's health and your father's health and not be upset. It doesn't make you bad that you're not upset or emotional.
You know, one year, when I was in Costa Rica, or we were in Costa Rica, we were really friendly with the staff at the Hampton Inn, and we enjoyed them. They took us to dinner, and they gave us this notebook as a gift. It was like a giveaway from the Hampton Inn, but I really love it because it is lined. It has a margin on the left side that's rather large, and it's got a circular spiral binding. So being left-handed, I can turn it even either way, and it doesn't get in the way when I'm writing things. And I love writing in that. And sometimes I'll write on one line, and then I'll skip a line and write another line, so that I can go in and fill in things that I missed as I was, writing an article. As you were telling us about your dad and your husband with MS, which multiple sclerosis, and then your dad with MDS, I was watching you write or rewrite this on a pad, and I could see you fill in. Can you believe it? I've got two family members, M and S. Maybe I should get rid of M and S. And then there's MDS. It's like, can you believe it? It's another MS thing. It's like that. You're laughing. You're commenting on the facts in the subtext on the story that you're continually writing and rewriting. And what was interesting, you talked about how it's a beautiful day and there are clouds in the sky and they're beautiful. And I got this image, Katie. You have cloud one, your husband, cloud two, your father. And I feel like you're lassoing both of them because they're your husband, your father, and you're pulling on the strings and you're pulling them over your head so they can rain on you.
Yep. Just when I need a little bit of.
Well, you think you need a little bit of. See, yeah. You think you need that, but I don't know that you need that drama.
Well, we were talking with Dave about that you also are a very successful person, and your success has come along with having a revolving story that you can feel sorry for yourself about. If it's, other health things for you, or, you've spoken freely on these podcasts before about your journey and trying to get pregnant. And then when it wasn't happening, you were feeling sorry for yourself. So this is just the new slot to drop that drama in. And without that, you are a little bit concerned you might not be successful.
That's so funny that you say that.
Well, you see a truth in it?
Yes, absolutely. I was going to say, when I was younger, I lost a significant amount of weight, but I did it by being mean to myself and beating on myself. And it was like, now, I'm embarking, I would like to drop some weight as well at this point. And it's like, oh, can I give up the beating on myself?
Well, I have a feeling you'll lose weight a lot quicker if you stop beating on yourself about your weight. Yeah. We talked about this with Dave, about taking a break when you take a break, letting go of those things you work on. So you go to work as a designer, as an architect, in kitchen cabinets and such.
Yes.
Yes. And so when you're done with that, you personally do not let that go. You come home and you still think about your projects.
Absolutely. You're right.
And so you never let yourself really disengage enough that you really feel rested, and you carry the same concerns about your projects with you throughout your day. You go back to work, it's the same. If you let go of it, you might discover answers that you couldn't have conceived of. But if you keep repeating the same thing, you'll come up with the same answers.
It's really cool.
I also feel like you're missing one thing. First of all, you are here on this podcast, and in case you're missing it, not only are you asking questions that you're getting an answer or answers to, or we're looking at possibilities, you're actually giving this to the world at large, because people are going to be listening to this. I think you forget from time to time the difference you make, Katie. And for instance, our friend Karen in Germany, shout out to you, Karen. She wrote us today about her chemotherapy, that she just started chemotherapy and how she's doing. And she's sharing it not only to connect in with us, but it's like a gift. She's allowing us on the journey with her as a gift. And I feel so privileged to support her and love her through this process, and that she's not keeping it private. And in a way, here you are as well, but I'm not sure that you allow yourself to receive the energy back in that you are basically giving this to the world. There's something so lovely about that. And then I was thinking about, there are people in this community who've started a WhatsApp group called Healthy and Happy. And a lot of people are on weight loss journeys. And one of the fellows joined it, Sandy, not because he had any more weight to lose, but because he had taken an approach and he thought he had something to offer. So I think you forget sometimes that you have something to offer, a lot of things to offer, whatever it is you have to offer.
Problem being that you, in your own thoughts, don't see how magnificent you are. Because if I tell you you're magnificent, you're going to disagree with me. You'll come up with all those things that you think are flaws.
But I have to tell you, that's not a failing on your part.
And it's not unique to you.
Some of us lose sight of our magnificence. That's why we let other people in to look at us, and we listen to what they have to say.
I love that. It's so true. It's so funny because I see that in my friends and you guys and my family. It's like there are these magnificent beings, or who I love, and when they have something not so nice to say about themselves, I'm like, I don't even see that. I mean, I see that you might believe that, but it's like I never think that. You know what I mean? And it's like, it has to be true for me too. So
well, you're being a little irresponsible there, that
okay.
It has to be true for you too. Take a look, you'll see that
it is true.
That it is true for you. That you
just said it like hopeful.
You're right.
That thought process in each of us belies our magnificence, our just being incredible beings. Not because of what you do.
And if we bring this back to entropy, just because there'll be times you'll be aware that you make a difference, and then there'll be times where
entropy will take over
and you'll lose sight of it. And that's part of why we continue with Living Made Easy. That's why we have Living Made Easy on demand, so people can have a video of possibility each week in their inbox. The Transformation Made Easy Facebook community, where you can share whatever's going on with you. So there's just lots of, and that's just in our community. I'm certain that you're part of lots of different communities in your world as well. Yeah.
That's lovely. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah.
That's great. I didn't see that when I was speaking before about my dad and my husband, like how I would look up and pick up the story, but I can really see that.
The story has those emotional attachments.
Yeah, that story is where drama lives.
Why you should feel sorry for you. They're the ones who are sick. You know?
Right.
So,
Right. Yep.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for being with us today.
Yes.
Thank you.
Really a treat. If you want to be a guest like Katie and Dave, or you want to submit a listener spotlight, just go to transformationmadeeasy.com/being here and find out how. You ready for next week's episode?
I am.
Relax. You got this. That's next week's episode.
So come on back.
And don't miss
Being here.
what he said.